I am the district governor-elect for District 7090. And first and foremost, I really want to thank all those people who have given their time and efforts and volunteered to make this training presentation possible. In particular, on the Pets Committee, I'm going to single out Sue Cerny, who's from the Buffalo Sunrise Rotary Club, Tommy Wegge from St. Catherine's Rotary Club. Is that right, Tommy, or I got the wrong St. Catherine's?
That's correct.
Okay, good. I have Paul Gibble and Marcel Mongen from the Rotary Club of Hamilton After 5. I honestly didn't realize you guys were from the both same club. Great. And of course, Dave Barry, the producer of this, and he's from the Niagara Falls Sunrise Rotary Club. So a warm round of applause for the committee and those who are helping to make this happen tonight. Next, and most importantly, I really want to thank all of the president-elects from District 7090 who are on the Zoom call for answering the call to lead your club and become your next club president. You know, becoming a Rotary Club president can be a little there's a lot of overbearing. It requires a person to have dedication, commitment, and passion to serve. And your colleagues in your club must have recognized that in you, and that's why you're here tonight. So tonight we begin this journey together as we prepare ourselves to be the best leaders we can be for our clubs in our district. We want to be able to be people of action and live the Rotary motto of service above self, making impacts in our community and all throughout our district and all around the world. In Rotary, as they say in the action plan for Rotary, together we see a world where people unite to take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. And for all those who are taking the reins of your club for the first time, or even those who are repeating as a club president, this can be both exciting and also can be nerve-wracking. But let's not worry about that. Today's a time to get excited. And when you are done with your training, we think you're going to be ready to lead your club and lead them to bigger and better things than you've ever done before. And as much as I want you to learn to lead, I also want you to be able to enjoy this journey that you're going to make over the next year and a half, and to make connections with your colleagues who are here on this call tonight. So, because oftentimes the best resource you will have won't just be your district leadership team, but it will be your fellow PEs who will be sharing many of the same experiences that you will be experiencing during the year. Of course, you'll be provided many resources, and we'll learn about some of those tonight. And there's going to be a lot of expertise from your district leadership team, and you're going to meet some of those as well tonight. And you should learn a lot, and you should lean on all these people when you need them. So last week, I had this tremendous opportunity to represent our district at the Rotary International Assembly, and I was able to meet many of my fellow district governor-elects from all around the world, and also to hear from our Rotary International President-elect Gordon McAnally, who is from Scotland. It was really, truly inspiring to hear the many stories of the wonderful things Rotarians all over the place, like yourself, have done for others in need, seeing problems, finding solutions, and taking actions. This really reminded me that we all belong to an incredibly selfless group of people who are constantly trying to make the world a better place for us to live in. It made me proud to be a Rotarian, and I hope you guys are proud to be Rotarians too. And it certainly energized me for this road ahead. I was really, truly humbled, to be named district governor. And, so I promise to do all that I can to make sure that you will also be able to achieve your goals for yourself and your clubs. And I think that together, we will be able to make those lasting changes in our communities and ourselves. So again, I thank you for being here tonight, and we are going to kick off this meeting. And so let me just run down a quick little agenda about what we're going to be covering tonight, so if you haven't known. So we're going to start off with a short session on the Rotary ABCs, and Paul Gibble is going to lead us on that. And then his colleague from the Rotary Club of Hamilton After 5, Marcel Mongen, is going to talk about Rotary governance, followed by Sue Cerny, who's going to talk about some of the president-elect resources that we have at your fingertips, and introduction to any of the AGs who are here tonight who will be there to help you. Tommy Wegge is going to bring his experience as district governor in Finland to our meeting tonight. And he's going to talk about this roadmap of success that he has put together, which I think we're going to find really good. And at the end, we're going to finish up with a little bit of an open forum with a few questions that we can just discuss among ourselves and then bring back to the whole group. So having said that, anybody have any questions before we start? All right. Hearing none. Leading off, batting first, on our pets presentation. Hailing from Hamilton after 5. Paul Gibble. Paul, you can take over
Great.
and you can take over the screen if you need it.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Scott. Okay, there we go. So, want to just do a little bit on ABCs of Rotary. I think most of you have probably been in Rotary for at least a little while. Now that you're moving into the president's position, starting July 1st. So just want to give you a little Rotary background and some resources, as Scott said, if you do need something. So first, Rotary's mission and vision. So you'll see the mission. We provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. So that's what we're trying to do. That's the elevator pitch. And the vision statement, as Scott just said in his introduction, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change. So across the globe, in our communities, and ourselves. And I would suggest, if any of you are going through a strategic planning process, that the vision statement for Rotary International is actually a really good place for you to start. And if you start there, it's pretty hard to get off track. You can just follow that, and most of the things you're going to do will follow into that. The district strategic plan actually has adopted some of that, and they've aligned with the Rotary International program. So we do have a number of causes, or what's called our areas of focus. So you'll see promoting peace. So we do that through the Peace Fellowship program and through various other things that we do. We fight diseases, so educate and equip communities to stop things like polio. So polio, we're still on that last stretch. We're 99.9% of the way there, but we're just trying to finish up that last piece. And I don't know if any of you noticed, but there was just an announcement that we've signed on with the Gates Foundation for another 3 years at $50 million a year, and they're going to match that $100 million a year. So lots of money still pouring in. I know a lot of governments did commit last year. The third area of focus is providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. This is an area where Rotary's gotten a lot better in the last few years. The concept of just going in and drilling a well doesn't really meet the needs anymore. We want to be sustainable, and we want to make sure that we bring in sanitation and hygiene as well. So I think the focus has gotten a lot better. If you are going to apply for a global grant, you are going to have to go through a sustainability process and a community impact assessment. So that all helps that. Our fourth area of focus is saving mothers and children. And that's been one that's been, excuse me, near and dear to the hearts of a lot of people over the years. Fifth is supporting education. So we do this, we have ambassadorial scholarship programs, and we try to work on literacy, another big goal. Sixth one is growing local economies. So this is where microcredit fits in, things like that. And then our seventh one is the one that is only a year old, even though we've been working at it for more than that, but officially protecting the environment really only became effective last July 1st. So those are our 7 areas of focus. If you are going to do a global grant, you are going to have to fit into one of those areas of focus. You don't necessarily need to do that if it's going to be a district designated grant. We also have what we call avenues of service, and that's just really how we channel our commitment. And there are 5 of those. So club service is just focusing on making our club strong, making sure our membership is active. And really, our goal at the district level is really to help you become the best clubs you can be. And that's really it. The next one is vocational service. So making sure that Rotarians contribute their expertise, There's a code of conduct. There's a guide you can see in blue there, the introductions to vocational service. Those are guides that are available from Rotary International on the RI website. So in the event this week, in terms of working with Rotaractors on a speed networking event, that falls under our vocational service and our youth service as well. So community service, that we're all familiar with. That's ways we try and improve the quality of life for people in our communities. And again, there is some guides to effective projects, and there's lots of support on both the RI and the district website. International service, some clubs do a lot more than other clubs, but we are a global organization. We do promote peace and understanding, and doing that through international service is a great way of doing that. And then finally, youth service. So we have Rotaract, which is now part of Rotary, so it's not on its own anymore. We have Interact, RILA, and the Youth Exchange Program, which is back up and running after a few years off. Structure-wise, really, there's three parts. There's the clubs, Rotary International, and the foundation. So the clubs are the most important part. They're the people that actually do things, right? That's where our projects happen. That's where the ideas happen. That's where the relationships get built. And that's where we get the understanding of what the needs of our communities are. Rotary International supports the Rotary clubs, and they do that through a number of ways. One is through the districts. One is just through resources. I don't know if any of you have tried the Learning Center, but it really is phenomenal, the number of things that are there that you can take courses from 15 minutes up to 2 or 3 hours. But there are courses on a lot of things now. And again, the district exists just in terms of RI to help the clubs be the best they can be. And then our Rotary Foundation really helps all our activities, because that's where the money comes from. And it is important that we continue to donate to the Rotary Foundation. And ideally, we'd like every member to make that their charity of choice. So it's not really about the amount, but we would love to have as much participation as we can have. And half of the money that we raise in our district, 45%, it just changed, comes back to us in 3 years' time. So that's really the structure, and that is it for me. I'll turn it over to Marcel, unless anybody has any questions.
I just want to make a point, Paul, because I love sometimes that we don't even know what Rotary is. And I think having a little bit of a basis as to what we stand for and what we do as an organization is really important. I mean, I am sure that almost everybody in this room has been asked, what is this Rotary Club you keep referring to? And I think sometimes it's important to have that answer, available to yourself as to what we do. And I think it's a really nice snapshot. And I think we, as clubs, should be aware of those things that we do. So thank you very much, Paul, for letting us in on that secret. So very good. Marcel, you are now going to give us a little bit of a presentation on governance, and you have Paul gave you 3 extra minutes, so you're welcome to use it.
Absolutely. Let me jump in. Welcome everybody. My name is Marcel Mongeon, or Mongeon, whichever way you want to swing. I can swing both ways in Canada. I'm a member of the Hamilton Tonic Club. I also I rarely use credentials, but the one I want to sort of point out here at the end of my name there is I'm a chartered director. I was actually part of a program 20 years ago to get the Chartered Director program started out of McMaster University. And I continue to teach in a program down in the Caribbean Governance Training Institute. They always say, oh, wow, that must be nice. Yeah, but since the pandemic, not so much. So I go on 2 nights a week as opposed to actually going anywhere. What's governance? Well, it's the action of governing, but I always talk about it in terms of 2 major functions. Our clubs individually decide what they want to do on their own. First, we direct the clubs, we make decisions, and then secondly, we control those clubs. We stay on track with respect to our decisions. Now, as Paul has pointed out, Rotary International gives us, bluntly, I think, almost too much help. Look, if you want someplace you should read, yes, the Rotary Manual of Procedure. Avoid the Code of Policies, that's almost 500 pages long. The trouble with our governance documents at Rotary is too many damned attorneys. And yes, I are an attorney, so I'm part of the problem usually. But we've got all sorts of different documents that say this and that and the other thing. So why do we write things down? Well, the answer is really simple. If we don't write things down, how are we going to remember what we have to do? So you're going to start, as your president of your club, to make decisions at the board level. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, what the correct form of that is. But you're going to make all of these decisions. Presidents, your best friend among your other officers is going to be your secretary. Why? Because as you keep making all of these decisions, you better write the decisions down. And similarly, a great secretary is going to be a PITA, a P-I-T-A, a pain in the, yeah, you got it. And why? Because they're going to constantly be following up with you so that you as the president could look really good to remind the board, we made these decisions in the past and now I'm following up. So let's understand, who's supposed to write everything down? I got bad news for you. As the president, you don't actually have time because you're chairing the board meeting to write everything down. So you're going to want to make sure that the secretary is doing it. That's a critical function for you to get right. Now, why does good governance help good service? Well, if we make decisions about a project and we write them down, and we follow up on them, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier than trying to make it up as you go along. By the way, the clip is from Life of Brian. Anybody who remembers that movie, they were making it up as they went along. And it sort of gave us a really strange situation. Key governance questions in a club. Who do we work for and who's responsible? So at the top, the most important group of people we have in our club is, of course, our members. Now, our members, in fact, delegate authority downwards, first to the directors, and the directors, in fact, choose among themselves certain officers, and we expect a reporting upwards of all of this. So, interestingly, yes, the president works for the members, but through the directors is an interesting issue. Similarly, it is actually your board of directors that makes all of the key decisions for your club. I'm sorry, Madam President or Mr. President, it's not you, it's your board of directors. That's who makes the decision. And if you don't believe me, here's the standard club constitution that Rotary International prescribes. And it says, Section 2, the board has general control over all officers. That's you, Madam President. That's you, Mr. President. And for good cause may declare any office vacant. So if you come to cross purposes with your board, I got bad news for you. The board is, in fact, the person to whom a president on a day-to-day or a month-to-month basis reports to. In all club matters, says Section 3, the decision of the board is final, subject only to an appeal to the club, and it requires a 2/3 members. Please, please, if you come to the governance committee of the district with these kind of problems, oh gosh, you've gone way too far. Please give us a call much earlier than that. But wait a minute, I thought the president led the club. Isn't that the case? Well, the president and the other officers propose actions, they implement actions, but it is only the collective board of directors that can make a decision about the major decisions of a club. There are some decisions that have to go to the general membership, but I just want you to understand that absolutely the expectation is you're going to propose actions which will lead your club, but you're going to have to get your board of directors on side, because that's the first sort of line that you have to convince. Now, some interesting and important issues that we have to talk about at the board. So one of the things as president you need to do in sort of helping your other board members understand, you're there first to supervise the performance of the officers. Now, a lot of the concepts that I teach here, of course, come from corporate governance or large organizational governance. And of course, when we talk about some of our clubs being as small as 8 members or 5 members, the board is synonymous with the members. But of course, we've had, we have had clubs. I've been a member of a club that was up over 200 members at one point. Oh yeah, by the way, we've got a real problem in Rotary that membership is an issue, and this is something that everyone is concerned about. But our boards are there first to supervise and monitor the performance of the officers and provide for their succession. By the way, one of the really interesting things that I've suggested to lots of people, how could we convince that demographic of 30 to 50 years old, the people that we're trying to get join us as members, what might interest them? We give them opportunities for board training of an organization, where of course lots of them are looking to belong as boards of other organizations in your community. If you're doing it right, this is a good opportunity to in fact train younger people on how to be a good board member. What's your annual plan? What are the major decisions that arise from the annual plan? By the way, the board is responsible to monitor the performance of the club and to ensure that all of the parts of the club are achieving the plan. It isn't the president's problem when something goes wrong, it's the collective board's problem. I realize this is an interesting distinction at times that I'm making, but it's really important sometimes to engage all of the board members to realize, board member, you have a collective responsibility with all of your colleagues here. Now, the law imposes certain duties on board members. There are 3 very specific legal duties. Fiduciary duty. That's the duty to act as a trustee. You are responsible for assets which belong to somebody else, and accordingly you're expected to not profit from that, not to have any conflicts of interest, etc. You have a duty of care to act as a reasonable director, as a reasonable officer. What does that mean? Well, a really good thing that it means is to ask questions. The number one behavior that we expect of good directors and a great president is to ask questions and to follow up on that. And then ultimately, and this is a curious one, we expect the directors to follow the legal duty of obedience. That actually means that if the deliberations of the board of directors are confidential, then they are confidential. They're confidential even from the other members of the club, potentially. And that's something that a lot of boards at times have difficulty in understanding. We have also, from the Rotary International obligations, added you've got a duty to attend, you've got a duty to work within districts and zones. Don't worry, we've got that. But here's an important question that a lot of you should ask about serving as president or even as a director of your club. Welcome to our board. Can I lose my house? Do I have sufficient legal liability that I could lose my house? I got bad news for you. Sometimes our Rotary clubs are involved in things where somebody could get harmed, and could get harmed badly. Think of student exchange. Think of all of the revelations we've had of the last 30, 40 years about dealing with minors, dealing with precarious populations and everything. Now, some of you are going to say, but we've got insurance for that, don't we? Yes, we've got a web page on the district's web page of insurance policies and everything. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out there are certain types of liabilities like gross negligence, willful acts, willful blindness to facts that in fact our insurance policy isn't going to cover us on. One of the functions, just to give you an idea of some of the things that we should at least be attuned to within our Rotary clubs that could cause us great grief. So, for example, we will regularly do cleanup of the Great Lakes. Oh, okay. So who's responsible in that cleanup project to go and make sure where we're sending people isn't potentially dangerous? But now I'm confused. You mean we have to worry? Yes, absolutely. You have to worry about those sort of circumstances. And the liability starts first at the collective board of directors. And of course, the board of directors is going to come to the president and say, well, why didn't you tell us about this? Why weren't you leading us in this particular respect? Now, don't worry, help is at hand. We have a governance committee within District 7090. We have lots of things that governance committee can help you with. We have policies that you should or absolutely should consider implementing in your club. For example, an anti-harassment policy. A few of the vulnerable population policies you should consider. We give talks like this. For those of you who are incorporated on the Canadian side of the river, there are some concerns about the changes to the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. If you're incorporated under that and saying, gee, what should we consider? Give me a call, we'll talk it through. Some clubs have separate charitable foundations established, and you need some assistance with that. Our governance committee is also assisting with newsletter articles, and I want to show you, it's top secret sort of, it'll be on the website I think in a week or so, is a new document that we've approved, which is in fact a club board governance tool. And so here is, we tried to keep it as simple as possible. Look at that, 2 pages, that's all it is. And we ask you all sorts of questions. So just, go through the checklist, consider whether your club should be incorporated or unincorporated, review your membership program. I'm just picking things off at random here. All communications need to be compliant with Rotary branding policies. My purpose here is to just say that the governance committee actually spent quite a bit of time in putting this checklist together. It'll be on the website, I suspect, within a week, and we've just done a newsletter article about this, how it's there to in fact help you. So just to sort of help conclude, and in Paul's encouragement to go short, I'm going to go short, but people always have a question or two. Governance is a simple concept. It's how we keep our clubs on track, in turn how we stay relevant and how we change. But if anybody's got any questions, I'd be happy for you probably to press that little raise hand button, or if you're on camera, you can wave at me because I can see everybody
Google.
here. So does anybody have any questions?
Office lights on.
No questions?
Anybody have any questions for Marcel?
Yes, please, Oksana. Good to see you. How are you?
Well, thank you. Just sort of maybe to put it in the parking lot, I would be interested in understanding the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act and wondered if there'd be benefit for some of the Canadian president-elects coming together to have that discussion.
It's a constant source of interest that we deal with. If you are already incorporated, chances are I've already had a discussion with somebody in your club. There are some changes in the offing in the Ontario Not-for-Profit Act, which require clubs to sort of pay some attention to their bylaws. But we're fortunate because a particular club, the Hamilton AM Club, sort of took the bull by the horns, created a committee that I was part of, and we put together some sample bylaws, which I'd be happy to share out as well. So first thing you can do is shoot me an email. You can find me pretty quickly. It's an uncommon name, so shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to send that to you.
I think there's a possibility of us doing a webinar on this down the road, Marcel, for all the Canadian clubs, because this is a topic that has come up on a couple different occasions, and we think it might need to be addressed in a more specific fashion. So I appreciate the interest.
When Scott says we, he means me.
Well, yeah, that's true. Your hourly rate's fine. Perfect.
Any other questions, please?
Anything else? Nothing else? Well, there is a governance committee, and I remind people that, lean on that committee when you have questions. And, I know this was kind of a heavy topic, Marcel, but I think that the gist of it was that, your year will go a lot smoother if you had some systems in place that allow you to function properly as a club. And by following those things, you're going to take away some of the headaches that could be raised later on down the road as you're trying to have a good year. So, governance is not, it's kind of the heavy duty stuff that you hate to go through, but it is necessary. And if you want to run a club efficiently, these are good tools at your disposal. So I really appreciate the work of the governance committee to put this together for our clubs. Use it. It's a good tool. So very good. Marcel, thank you so very much. And, maybe in the chat box, you can put your email address if people need to get a question out to you. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you again. So we're running a little bit ahead of schedule. I think we are, but that's perfect. Perfect. If we can end a little bit early, great. So following up next, I'm going to have Sue Cerny take the reins here for this next portion. And we're going to talk a little bit about President-elect resources, and then we'll do an introduction of some of the AGs who have joined us tonight, which will be your first line of resource as a president of your club. So, Sue, are you ready?
Yes, I am. I'm sharing my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
We got it. Thank you so much, Sue.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. President-elects for 2023-2024. Creating hope in the world will be your theme. Just a little bit about me. I joined Rotary in 2018, Rotary Club of the Buffalo-Niagara Medical Campus. From there, I answered a call from then District Governor Reg Madison. Reg was looking for a PETS co-chair, so I joined Al Lutchen in 2018 and 2019 to chair the PETS committee. I then served as district trainer from 2019 to 2022, and now I am serving as your AG for Area 10 from 2022 to 2025. So just a little bit about the roles and responsibilities of the AG. So what is it that I do? How do I help? AGs are the liaisons between the clubs and the district. We are here to support you, to mentor you. We're here to help provide communications, new information from Rotary International, the district, and other resources. And we are here to assist you guys in setting your goals, finding solutions to challenges, and resolving any conflicts. As a liaison to the district, we want to keep you informed of events. So what we want to do is we want to make sure you're aware of what is coming up on the calendar. So first and foremost, coming up in February, March, and April is the Rotary Leadership Institute. So we encourage you as president-elects and presidents to encourage your members and your board members to attend Rotary Leadership Institute. You learn about the vast world of Rotary here. This is where many new members of Rotary actually become Rotarians. There's a depth and breadth of knowledge here that we share with you through these trainings. And it's through some of people who go through these trainings are some of the people who will then step up into committee roles, into being committee chairs, and eventually into roles in the district. So it helps us with succession planning for your committees and your leadership chain. And it also helps with the district in getting people to commit to district roles and district leadership roles. The next is the Rotary Web Talks, and Scott has talked a little bit about this. Rotary Web Talks is a quick 1 hour once a month on a specific topic. And not only do we invite you to attend, but we invite you, if you have specific information, if you have a topic that you can facilitate and you'd like to share your knowledge, we'd welcome you sharing your knowledge with your fellow Rotarians. So let us know about that. Also coming up is the district conference. And I'm going to pause here for a second. I know the district conference is going to be a week-long event. It's going to be in both countries. It's going to be both virtual and in person. And Scott, I'm going to call on you for a moment to say a few words about the district conference.
Well, Sue, in this year, it'll be held in April. And we're going to be doing a number of things. It's starting off with our district assembly or district council meeting. And then beyond that, there's going to be some in-person events that will be taking place, hands-on things. And then at the end of the week, we're going to culminate the district conference with our Great Lakes watershed cleanup. So there'll be a lot of different events going on both sides of the border. There'll be an opportunity to get together with your fellow Rotarians and have some fellowship. And there'll be a chance for you to do some hands-on community service projects. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for some more information. There's going to be a lot of advertising and promotion coming up about the district conference. Hope to see everybody there.
Great. Thank you very much, Scott. Following the district conference then will be the district/club training assembly. And this is usually a full day event where we talk about the roles and responsibilities at the club level and at the district level. So this is where you come to learn about being the secretary or the treasurer or the foundation chair. And there's some other soft skills we throw in there as well. So we want you to encourage your members, your board members, your members to attend the district/club training assembly to learn about these roles and responsibilities if they are interested in participating in a committee, possibly chairing a committee, and maybe even moving up into the district roles in some of the district committees. So we definitely want you to encourage your members to attend the district conference, the District Club Training Assembly, which happens generally in May. We want your participation in Rotary Web Talks, and we would love as many people as possible that you could send to Rotary Leadership Institute. The registration for RLI is up on the website, so we're hoping to see your club members there February, March, and April. Also, in order to be successful, you need to understand what your members want and you need to deliver that to them. So how do we do that? We ask our members, we engage them in conversation. We might do a survey, but as Marcel talked about this model of the flip triangle, it is the members, then the board, and then the president. So we definitely want to have our members engaged. We want to know what they want to do, and we want to be able to implement those ideas going forward. In terms of achieving goals and objectives, we want to be able to support clubs in achieving your goals. So we also do something called Vision to Action. We have an entire committee around this. Vision to Action helps you define your vision, your mission. We help with strategic planning, operational planning. We also help you develop measures for success and progress. And then we want you to report on those measures and success to your members. So that's what we do here, vision to action, strategic planning, operational planning, measuring progress, and then helping you deliver results to your members. Your responsibilities, well, service leadership. You are here to serve your members. They are not here to serve you. You are to build strong relationships with the team, your board, and engage your members. You want to have a plan, so you want to have goals, objectives, and you want to be able to talk about those key results. You want to communicate regularly. You want to delegate. You definitely want to delegate to get more done. There's too many things that the president encounters that they cannot possibly do on their own. So they have to build those key relationships, and they have to be able to delegate and have people take over when needed. You want to definitely measure and communicate your progress. And if there's any questions or comments, we can get to them at the end. But I want to thank you for your time today. And I want you to think about what you will do to create hope in the world. And I'll take any questions regarding this presentation right now. Thank you.
Any questions for Sue? No questions? So do we have, can we stop sharing the screen for a second, Sue? And let's let any of the AGs who are on introduce themselves and tell what area they are representing. So who else do we have on this one? I know we have a few. So who wants to be the first to step up?
Hi, this is John Weismantel.
Okay, John, you're down in Ellicottville. So
I'm
you
in
have which
Ellicottville.
clubs?
I have Area 15, which is Ellicottville and Olean. And for some reason, I cannot get on the start video. I've tried all night to start my video. So unfortunately, well, fortunately, perhaps for everyone, you just see the spelling of my name. But yeah, so I've been doing this about 3 years, and I'm in my final year, we think, of being an AG for this area.
Very good. Thanks, John, for being here tonight. Appreciate your support.
You're welcome.
Who else we got there? We got who's from area 13? Who's that?
It's me. So
Okay.
for 6 more months, going by Avery. My real name is Lisa Avery, but not to get confused with the governor. I just go by Avery for the final 6 months of my 3-year term as AG. And I'm in the south towns of Buffalo, New York. So Hamburg, Hamburg Sunrise, East Aurora, Orchard Park, and West Seneca.
Thank you very much. And who else we got here tonight? Paul, you're an AG, correct?
Yep. So I have Area 4, which is Hamilton. So Hamilton AM, Hamilton After 5, which is Tonic, and Hamilton Stony Creek.
Perfect. Any other AGs on here? Ross, are you on here as well?
Don't forget Tommy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I overshot Tommy before. Tommy, go ahead.
Okay, well, I guess
Which one?
Well, we got
I'll go
two
with you,
Tommies.
Tommy.
We got both
I'll go with
Tommies.
you, Tommy. I'm Tommy Gerbasi. I'm in the proudly binational Area 8, which encompasses Fort Erie, Grand Island, Lewiston, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Niagara Falls, New York, as opposed to the 2 Niagara Falls, Ontario clubs, and Niagara County Central. We're an interesting group. We've been together for a long time. The 3 clubs I mentioned, Fort Erie, Lewiston, Niagara-on-the-Lake, and Grand Island, have been quote-unquote sister clubs for more than 30 years. And we're a tight-knit kind of group. We're all small, and we're all kind of feisty. So we're an interesting group.
Now, your vaudeville partner, the other Tommy, the taller one, the taller, good-looking one.
Yeah, I'm Tommy Vegge. I'm actually a member of the Rotary Club of St. Catherine's, as mentioned earlier. I'll take care of the Area 6, which includes Niagara-on-the-Lake, St. Catherine's South, and St. Catherine's Lakeshore. So these 4 clubs, and I have a little experience from Finland and Estonia, so that came along when we moved here like a year ago.
Thank you. Any other AGs on the call? I'm not sure if there is.
Scott, it's Ross Gowan here. I'm
go,
the
Ross. Hey,
coordinator
Ross.
of the AGs, and I think you did get all of those who are on the call today. I was an AG about 5 years ago, and but now my role is to coordinate the 18 AGs that we have, which includes 2 from our Rotaract clubs. And it's quite a job because we've got some pretty high-powered AGs involved, and so it keeps me hopping to try and keep everybody organized. But everybody's got their own job to do, and their job primarily is to work with each of their clubs and to help them solve problems and so on. And so we meet as a team of AGs, I guess 5 times throughout the year, and we deal with various topics when we do get together.
Hey Ross,
That's all.
give me a little idea what the biggest benefit a club can get from having a good relationship with their AG.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure there's any one in particular biggest benefit, but I would say that your AG really is your go-to person to get information from other clubs and from the district as well. So it really is important that the president-elects and the presidents attend the meetings that the AGs hold, and the AGs should be holding meetings 4 or 5 times a year. Sue Cerny, for instance, holds meetings once a month with each of her presidents and president-elects. But most AGs, we ask them to meet at least 5 times a year, and that really gives you an opportunity to network with and collaborate with your other presidents and president-elects, and it allows you to collaborate to develop projects to work together on, and also just to bounce ideas off the other presidents. And so it really is a good networking opportunity for the presidents to work through your AGs.
Really nice. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate that. And I'm glad you say about Sue. She's an overachiever, Ross. You know that.
I think we all know that.
Yeah, we know that. Does anybody have any questions for any of the AGs who are here on the call tonight? If this is an open forum, feel free to ask them. If you have some question that's burning and you might want to open that up for discussion, feel free to do so now. No questions. All right, we have a shy group here. I don't want these presidents to be too shy here. All right, Sue, is there anything else you need to add for us before we jump over to the taller, good-looking Tommy from Finland?
No, I'm all set. Thank you, Scott.
Sue, thanks so very much for jumping in here today. And I just want to make sure that this session is being recorded, and if anybody would maybe want these PowerPoints, would these be available to anybody who might want to look at these PowerPoints, Sue?
Yes.
We can make them available. And I think Paul has one, of course, and Marcel, you have one as well, too. I think these are all going to be available to everybody. So
how are they going to be available?
Well, I think we can make them available. What would we normally do, Sue? Put them in a folder?
We can email them, Scott. We can also post them on the resources on the website. So there'll be 2 ways to get them.
Okay. Well, let's plan on posting them on the resource page, and we'll set up an email with a link to it, so everyone knows where to go. All right.
Sure.
That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. All right. Well, your year is going to be really busy. And, Marcel talked about having your organization in order so you can have a calm year, one that's not going to have too much conflict or issues, involved with your own club members. But we're going to have a little discussion about, what kind of things should you be doing at what times during the course of the year. And we have a great resource that is going to be presented to us from Tommy Wegge, and he's going to lay that out for us. So, Tommy, if you want, I think you'll have control of the screen here, and okay. I turn this presentation over to you.
Okay, thank you. So I actually took up a couple of topics because I don't think the president year is just the president year when you have to do your duties again for the club. So I normally describe that being a president is like a 2-year term, because it starts like half a year before your actual year, and it ends up like half a year before your year. And there are a couple of things you can do to prepare yourself for the club and for the board and for the district. I took these items here so that I have a couple of things of a little bit everything. So I feel that one of the best things to prepare your year is to participate to RLI, Rotary Leadership Institute. And because of this issue, what Rotary has with these acronyms, so I always want to explain what something means, because otherwise they might be a little foggy. So we have next RLI starting in February 7th, as it was mentioned earlier. We have the next part of that in March 14th, and the third part is in April, which means that I think February the 5th might be the last date to register yourself to the next RLI. And as I wrote here, so you can, I've been in RLI in Finland, I've been in RLI in Canada, as was mentioned earlier. So it's a really good way to networking. It's a really good way to learning new things. And it was that in both cases for me. It was that in Finland, it was that in Canada. And I'm also a RLI trainee from Finland. The content of the RLI training is always the same. But the thing is that, of course, it improves during the years. But the thing is that what I was taught in Finland was the same I was taught in Canada. And that's about that. Then this is probably the timeline which DGE was referring. We used to have this kind of Excel file in Finland, which is showing when do you actually have to act. The first part of this, about the first line, is for the presidents. The next one is for the secretaries, and the last one is for the treasurers. And there you can see actually when you have to be aware, starting to do something or starting to act something. And I actually checked these timelines with our district secretary, who gave me the dates so that they are approximately the right ones. And I can't, of course, say that if some clubs are having their AGMs in some other month, which is this information which I got from PIN, that I think it's normally used in December, or yeah, it might be some other month as well, but as you know, so that you have the flexibility to do that. Then I digged out some budget information because they vary a little bit on Canadian side and on the US side. This means that they are approximately the same, but the content is a little bit different. That was the biggest challenge for me, find out these numbers from this district, because every district does these things a little different way, but this is the way. As you can see, so the 7-8 first lines are something which are actually invoiced by Rotary International, and then last 3 ones are something which district is invoicing. And club dues from Rotary International, they are half year invoices you get, so these semi-annual invoices. $71 is at the moment the district, the club due per member. And district is invoicing their fees according to the normal calendar year. So they're actually, because it's incorporated, it starts from 1st of January, ending last date of December. And insurances are a little bit different as well, because part of them are invoiced, at least the American side is invoiced by the RI, and the Canadian side is invoiced by the district because the content is a little bit different, but the result, what it's covering, is the same, although the sums are varying a little bit. Then we have this empty space, which actually is something which I and the AG coordinator Ross has been preparing a little bit. So this is action plan. I'm translating it from Finnish to English. We have a couple of versions which we are discussing with coordinator Ross, and that's something you are going to have a little bit later. It's actually a plan which in Europe is very common to do. It's like your Sue had the term in her presentation there, but the thing is that this shows how you do things, what you do, when you do, and who is doing what. So this is like some kind of plan for that what happens to next year and how do you get there. But that will be shared you later on, so we get a template for that, and that's going to be in for your use. And then to remind you about the strategic plan, so ERI does that very clearly, simply. So the left-hand side picture is from their pages, and then the district has done their own strategic plan, which is like fulfilling the one we have on the Rotary International side. So these two tools together would be a good tool for you as well when you are planning your strategic plan in your club. And there is no need to be too complicated plans because it's actually much more easier to adapt if it's more simple and not too many pages. So like I'm pretty much like, because I'm a son of an engineer, so I'm a one sheet guy pretty much. So which means that all the important issues has to be on one page and that's it. You just choose the way how to fulfill that. Then one of the more tools for your year might be something like this, which I used when I was a president in my club. So I did, of course, in Excel again. So on the right-hand side, you can see those yellow and orange spots, which means that what's the theme of the month. So according to that, I chose those speakers or presentations for that month, and there's who is responsible for that when it's arranged, and then you can see the program name there as well. So I did it that much that I put even the dates when we had the meetings, but everybody is having once in a week their meeting, so that's very easy to do it in that way. And a little reminder of the membership and the figures. So it's very easy for you guys to find out from Rotary Central all these kind of figures. So as we can see, I didn't actually remember put the club number there totally, but I think we have around 60. Do we have 68 clubs at the moment in our district? But it has been going a little bit down. But I think I heard somewhere somebody talking that now in this spot at the moment we are 5 members on plus in this district, so which is a good thing, of course. And as you can see, this the Rock has been wondering that why he hasn't heard anything about them. Even the young girl knows that there are so many Rotarians in so many countries, and as we know that we are over 200 countries at the moment, and I hope that the Rock is not driving to the off the road because of this, that she realized that we are in so many different countries at the moment. So this is actually for the preparations what I thought you would have good to know. And if you feel asking me something, so I would like to answer you. Thank you.
Tommy, you're going to make that chart's going to be available to them, correct? To the president-elect?
Yeah.
So they'll be able to work on their own timeline and get things set up for themselves.
Yeah, they get the template so that they can get familiar with that and all this information. So it's not going to be a problem. I have the file. I can send it to you or Sue so that you can share it in that timeline as you like.
Yeah, anytime we can get a tool out that can help them make their life a little bit easier, we want them to have in their possession. Tommy, they should be working on this thing presently, correct? You'd say?
Sorry?
This is the kind of thing they should be working on right now, right?
Yeah.
Because the sooner you have your year in place, and the easier it's going to go for them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Very good.
So I see 3 hands there. So maybe Carolyn.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start.
Dave, you want to start first? Okay.
Yeah, I'll start. That was brilliant, Tommy. Absolutely brilliant. I looked at that and said, this is the type of thing that we should be managing to draw young people in to follow. It is a business approach to managing your club. And I think that this is why we can entice younger members to come into our clubs, because they will recognize that it is a training ground for business. I've been saying this for the last couple of years, and I don't.
Yeah.
The other point I wanted to point out is that dollar for dollar, when you looked at your Canadian and US, it's about within $3 of each other when you do the exchange.
There was not a big difference when I counted the currencies.
And the last thing I wanted to mention was the word action. And there's no use starting a strategic plan without having that word action in it. So I encourage people to recognize that too. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
How about Carolyn Mullen from Fonthill?
Thank you. And it's not necessarily just what Tommy had mentioned, but Sue had mentioned, and I've heard it a couple of times. So just regarding RLI, I'm pretty sure my PIN is now 10 years old. So I did RLI quite early on in the program becoming available in our district. Is my 10-year-old training still relevant today? So Tommy had mentioned, I think that it was similar what he was learning in Finland to what he's learning here now. So the program at its core hasn't really changed. So is there a refresher for people who haven't been in it for a while? That's one kind of question. Two is that, so we keep saying, we're talking to our club, Rotary Leadership Institute is an amazing program. It's great. You should get involved. It'll teach you so much about Rotary. There's 3 parts. But beyond that, where's this distinct information? So we're talking about all these business plans. We're talking about, all this, drilling down to different things. So when I'm selling RLI, how am I selling it further than that? 3 points. It's about leadership. Like, what are you actually doing, and why are there 3 different levels, 3 different parts to it? What are the 3 different parts? So if there's any information that, and maybe it is on the website and I just haven't looked, but if you can point me to marketing messages that we can continue to bring back to the club, because all we keep doing is saying RLI, 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 RLI. You need it. It's great. You should do it. Yeah. So, right? Yeah. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. If I can answer you that way, that I feel that when you see different people presenting the same things, you get different things out of those presentations, because some of the people can some things and some of the people can some other things, which means that, like, for example, I called Glenn asking that, can I participate to the foundation part of the RLI again, because I know that there's a good speaker at the moment. So I just wanted to hear what he is saying, because I know that he's a good guy having his presentation. So if you have 10 years ago done that, that's for sure giving the information, the basics of Rotary, but that is always happening something, some minor upgrades, updates. If you feel that you have to go, please go, because it's only $20 per each, so it's not a big issue in that way either. I recommend it strongly.
Yeah. If I can jump in too, Tommy, to help you out, the current materials, Carolyn, were put together in 2018. So there was a rewrite, and there's currently actually a proposal in front of RI to do another major rewrite. So in another year, I think you're going to see things start to change reasonably drastically again to update everything. But there is definitely a page on the district website, or you can get a hold of Tommy or myself or Glenn Christensen, who runs the RLI program. We'd be happy to have a chat, or if you want somebody to come into your club and do a little presentation, we'd be happy to do that too.
Yeah.
That would be great. Thanks so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Paul, for
And there was one more hand up. Cecilia, please.
Oh, thank you. Well, pretty much same as David, I think. I thank you for sharing these documents. That's how my brain kind of works, like having Excel sheets and just entering that kind of information. That kind of gave me a good, if you said that you will share them. So thank you. That will really help me just to kind of like organize my brain in that way. And it's not that overwhelming to become.
No.
Right. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to getting this Excel sheets. Thank you.
Thank you. And Scott, if I can ask that some of the later pets, if I and Ross could have a word for the action plan templates, which we are representing them. So that would be great. Or what do you think, Ross? Can we do that?
Ross?
Oh, can we do that? I
Yeah.
can help you with that, Tommy. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think
sure
I would
we'll
like to
a-
have I would like to have you back in here to talk about that and unveil that for the PEs. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
So we'll make that happen, and I think it's a real valuable tool. So, and anything that we can offer them that's going to again make their life a little bit easier and give them a little bit of structure to take away some of the nervousness of trying to get through this whole big job. We're welcoming that. So I would appreciate you guys coming back on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And once more, I have to say that my language skills are not so perfect because I've been living here only 1 year. So but they are improving all the time. So maybe next time I will be smoother with my language skill. Yeah. But thanks for your patience.
Tommy, we understood you perfectly. No problem.
Yeah, a lot better when I finish.
He's better than my English most days, so that's even better. So thanks again, Tommy, for your help. I appreciate it very much. Okay. Now this is a chance for the PEs to do a little discussion here. You've been listening to us talk a little bit. What I'd like to do now is Dave Barry is going to break us out into a few different breakout groups. And we're going to have a few questions that we want to have you discuss a little bit during the course of it. And David, do you have those questions queued up for us too as well?
Yep, hold on.
Maybe not.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you see them now? Not very big.
Oh, well, I don't see anything yet. Uh-oh. Here we go. So here's three questions that in your groups you can discuss among yourselves, and maybe it'll give you a little bit of incentive here. But so number one, what is the goal you most want to achieve as club president? 2, what do you think will be your biggest challenge as club president? And 3, at a more general level, why did you join Rotary and what made you stay? You're now the club president. What's your story? And how you going to convey that story to someone else? Maybe in an effort to have people say, "Hey, I might want to be part of that." So, this discussion time is good. We're going to give about 12 minutes. David, is that about good for us?
That sounds good to me. Don't forget 3 things: A, goal; B, challenge; and C, why join and why stay.
All right.
Okay. Goal, challenge, join, and stay. Thanks.
Perfect. All right. So David's going to kick us out to some groups, and you'll have one of the other AGs or moderators join the group, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, David.
Dave, Barry, you cut me off. I'm quite upset.
Well, take your complaints to the management, please.
I'm listening. Go ahead. What was that? So, did everybody have nice, lively discussions in their breakout sessions? Anybody who was leading want to make a comment? And I'll start. I honest to God, I think that some of the best ideas we get are just from speaking to each other, and I loved the concerns that people had, mostly revolving around membership. Not only just recruitment, but engagement are big issues, and these are topics we will be covering down the road. So I was happy to hear that. Anybody else leading a discussion and want to chime in here? Avery?
I think our group was really good, and I agree. We sometimes find our problems are very similar and our goals are very similar. So because we're all kind of doing the same job, it's nice to hear other people's ideas because they're usually so practical.
How about you, Paul? Want anything to add to the conversation here from what you heard?
Well, Lisa and I ended up in the same group, so.
How about I ask room one for Dan and Dean?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And like you said, we all have similar things going on. But one of the things that we mentioned was, and maybe it exists someplace, with all the networking and talking to each other, if we had a listing of all of the president-elects and their contact information, so we would have our own group, and then also a listing of contact information for all the AGs. I think that would be very helpful. Maybe it exists someplace, but I'm just not aware of it.
Well, we can make that happen. So that's a good suggestion. Thanks, Dan.
I think, Dan, within Club Runner, you can access an email distributional list of all the president-elects and all the presidents and so on. So that that distribution list is already there for you.
Okay.
Okay, so where? I know how to get to my club.
Oh.
I can see who's in my club. I have like a routine.
Okay.
I believe you'd have to go to District 7090 Club Runner. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah,
Just
that's on district level.
www.district709.org.
Yeah, that's where I go. But
Yeah. Is that the right address?
That's correct. 7090.org. That's right.
7090.org. Yeah.
I think we can.
Rotary
I think we can share
7090.org.
a distribution.
Yeah.
I think we can print up or share a distribution list, a PDF or a Word, or put it on.
Yeah.
Christina, talk to your AG. He's right there close by.
he's shaking his head, I'm sure. Right, Paul?
Believe me, Club Runner is still a mystery to a lot of people about accessing it. So, at some point we're gonna have to maybe break that down again a little bit.
But please spend some time going on the district club site and just, you're not going to destroy anything. You're not going to hurt anything, but you will find a sort of wealth of information if you go under committees and say, oh, I found this. This is interesting. Just spend a half an hour or so and look for it. If you're ever looking for addresses, if you're ever looking for phone numbers to somebody, it's there.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is a lot of times when the clubs reach out to me and they have trouble, the reason is because they haven't signed in as a member first.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole pile on the website that is member only. So really, when you go in, make sure you sign in. And then that'll open up all kinds of things on the website that are not available to the general public.
It's the same sign-in information as for your personal club runner. Same address, same password.
Has everybody on this call ever been on Club Runner to use it on a regular basis? And by show of hands, who uses Club Runner? All right, so a good percentage do. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Another source of information is going on Rotary Club Central, and you'll find under reports. There's a heck of a lot of information there that you can get.
And where to put the goals.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
we're foreshadowing a few of the different topics we'll be covering down the road here. So I appreciate that. So who else? Room 3. Who was in room 3?
Jason, Joanne, Mark, and Susie.
How'd your conversation go?
Quietly.
Who's the spokesperson for that room? Susie?
Why? Because I'm smiling?
Yes, I noticed you, so you're getting called on now.
We did have a great discussion. I think a lot of our challenges are just trying to get the clubs motivated, and our biggest fear is change within the club, that members won't be receptive to some change. And most of us had joined the club just to become involved in the community, and there's a great infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. I've heard this a couple of different times now in our group as well, the fear of change by the existing membership. And I was reflecting that down in Orlando at the International Assembly, the word innovation was used every day in our discussions, and they were encouraging us to not be afraid to innovate and don't be afraid to try new things. And even if you should fall flat on your face and fail, remember, you don't have to continue with it. You can always try it. And if it doesn't work, try something different, but, stay at it to try to motivate your club to engage them and do different things. It's never going to hurt. So thanks, Susie. Who else do we get? Room 4? Where was that? Who was room 4?
Annette, Christina, John, or Ross?
Yeah, I can speak for the group, and all 3 of the president-elects in my group felt they had the same goal, and that was engagement of their members. And there was unanimity there. And that's related to membership, of course, as well. And the flip side of that then is the biggest challenge they felt generally was to get members engaged and to shake things up a little bit and innovate. And one comment was that change can really be very useful to build engagement.
Well, that's good. That's good example. I was going to ask someone who is in a club where they feel the membership is engaged. Why do they feel engaged? Anybody feel that way about their club? Anyone want to offer? Rob, go ahead. Tell us why you feel engaged in your club, and what have you guys been doing?
Thank you so much, Scott. So everyone in my club has the ability to participate in extremely meaningful projects we do in our city. In the city of Brantford, we do 3 major fundraising activities that engages the entire community, and all the proceeds go to help kids in the community or kids with special needs in the community. So the projects that we do have a direct impact on children and families. So the members in our club feel like it's not hard work to get involved because of the end result. Our only issue is we need the community to realize who actually does the work. So I just think having meaningful projects and everyone feeling like they belong and everyone feeling that their participation matters is why my club is so successful at engagement.
There you go. So there's one way to keep them engaged, to everybody gets involved in a project where they feel it's meaningful. Very good. Anybody else have any thoughts about that idea about membership engagement? You want to add to that equation?
And I don't have necessarily anything about membership engagement, but it's related. Looking at the agenda for pets and whatnot throughout and hearing change and change management being such a central theme to what we're talking about, do we talk about what it is to lead change and talking about the change curve?
It's definitely, it will be covered about how to be innovative, how to introduce change to clubs. Not every club is ready for a change, Jason. It's going to be overwhelming, and sometimes changes can be dramatic, and sometimes it doesn't have to be so dramatic. Sometimes it's little changes that keep a club engaged and keep them going forward and keep them growing. So again, there's not going to be a right answer for everything. There's not a one-size-fits-all mentality we should be addressing, because every club is going to be a little different. Their culture is going to be a little different. You're going to feel it out too, but you're also going to be listening and saying, hey, this might work for my club. I can try a little of this or try a little of that. So we'll see how it goes. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to the next group. What was it? Group 5? Who was leading Group 5? David?
You're muted.
I know I'm muted. How many years has this been?
I don't know.
We're still getting used to this Zoom thing, apparently.
Amber, David, John, Rob, and Susan.
Okay, so I can chime in. Membership, net new members, member diversity was one of the goals. Another goal was global grants. And the third one was getting the word out about Rotary and the good work that Rotary does in our communities. And those also translated into challenges. So while we have goals around membership, global grants, and getting the word out about Rotary, we need to come up with strategies and action plans to actually make that happen. So that's essentially what happened in room number 5. And anybody who was in room 5 wants to chime in, please go ahead.
It's interesting that a lot of the issues you were bringing up there, Sue, sounds like we might actually have some tools to help them, correct?
Absolutely. We have tools throughout our website. We have resources and training. We have AG resources. We can come to your clubs. We can present at your clubs, and we have tools from Rotary International and across the globe. So anything that we can do to help you, please let us know to help achieve your goals and to overcome some of your challenges. Absolutely.
Perfect.
I like to point out here that you're turning the triangle upside down. The normal corporate structure is one in which the guy in the top is dictating down to the bottom, but no, we've got it upside down. The organization at the pinnacle, the district is really there just to support everybody, and that makes a world of difference. And when you recognize that they are there to help you, so follow through.
Excellent. How about room 6, maybe? Who was in room 6 and issues that you guys were talking about in there?
Cecilia, Carrie, Michael, Russ, and Tommy.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Actually, I've heard pretty much all the other ones here already mentioned, but I think in the goal section, having finding the fun back would be something which wasn't mentioned earlier. So that I liked. And I actually saw some club having, it was not here, it was somewhere else. So we have this 4-way test. So they have added a 5th one there. And the 5th one was have fun.
Listen, we should. Yeah, I love that one, Tommy. That's a great idea. Make sure we have fun when we're doing our good works.
Yeah, and then this engaging came in the first and the second. So the goal and challenge as well. So engaging members doing something, but there was actually, I think it was Russ telling about how they activated members who haven't been active for a long time. So they got them on board again. Okay, it was financially in that case, but the thing is that if you get them activated, anyhow you get them activated, so that's important. And the reasons why people joined Rotary, so pretty much like making a difference, giving back to community, these things, and those are still valuable things for being with.
Thanks, Tommy.
Did I forgot something?
Anybody got anything to add to that? Okay. Who was in 7? Anybody?
The only Lisa in the group, and
We got that
Carolyn?
one done. And then I think I was in group 8, so I think we're pretty much good with that. Is that right?
Yep, the only one we're missing is 2.
Who was in 2? We missed 2.
Andrea, Marcel,
Oh, here we
Ruth,
go. Sorry about that. We're saving Marcel for last.
Tommy,
And Tommy.
and Ursula.
Who's going to chime in there?
Well, I'm never shy about talking, so I might as well. I can't stand the silence. I have to say, I was really inspired by our group. Basically, our group was really wholeheartedly behind diversity. We wanted to promote diversity. We were in Rotary because we enjoyed the diversity of the group, not just diversity of gender, but diversity of thought, diversity of ideas, diversity of doing things differently, about engagement, about getting involved with new ideas. And I think one of the things what was a concern to some degree was that we had a lot of great ideas, but we wanted to make sure that we stayed focused, and we wanted to make sure that we achieved something that was lasting and worthwhile when we were done doing that. And of course, I'm a little scattered myself, so if anybody else in the group wants to chime in with what else they came up with, I'll be glad to shut up.
I think you got it covered, Tommy. I think you got it covered. So, well, listen, I really want to thank everyone who has participated tonight. I hope really that the discussions were lively and were useful for you, and it gave you hope for leading your own club. I hope that the segments that we ran tonight, we're going to give you some information that you really can go forward with, and give you some additional tools to utilize to make your year a little better. We have a pretty good PETS program lined up for the next few months. There's going to be a great focus on leadership development, developing your leadership team, picking out your goals and how to get those achieved. It's going to be a great year for you guys. And I'm going to just end this by saying that Sue stole my thunder a little bit earlier, but the new theme has been unveiled, and it used to be a great secret, but nowadays in the advent of the internet, the minute the new theme for the year comes out, everybody seems to know it before almost anybody else. But the new theme was unveiled for your year. And if you can see this I'll back up a little bit here. This is the new theme for the year. It's Create Hope in the World. And Gordon McAnally, the incoming RI president, he has a really good focus on not only doing great things in the world, but also taking care of ourselves and our membership. And he has a tremendous focus on issues involving mental health in our community. And one of the things we should be thinking about as we are looking at our clubs and our membership engagement is making sure we're taking care of our clubs first, and making sure we're looking out for our club members as well, that we're all doing okay. And that by doing okay together, we can go out and do great things in the world, as we are already doing. So I leave you tonight with our new theme for 23-24 Rotary year. Rotary is going to help create hope in the world, and I love the theme. I wish I had a better, Lisa Bishop, I'm a little jealous of her because she had a beautiful story behind her theme for Imagine. She told it so well. This doesn't really have a story behind it, but there is a story behind his issue regarding mental health, and I'll be happy to share that somewhere down the road. It's really rather moving, and I'm very proud that this is going to be our theme for the year, and we're going to run with it and make the best of a great Rotary year, and continue to make great impacts in our communities, and we're going to expand those impacts as well. So Again, this will be it for tonight. We're going to leave a little bit early. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules, being here tonight. If there's anybody who wants to stay around for a few extra minutes to ask any questions, feel free to do that. But for those who are here, I will see you in a couple weeks on the 30th. I think it's the 30th. And we'll get going on our traditional pets. So thank you very much, everybody. And thank you all my presenters and all my AGs for being here tonight. Much appreciate everybody. And go do Rotary. Thank you.
Scott.
Scott, I would like to commend you. When I first joined up the thing tonight, I was in earlier than most people, and I thought by accident I'd signed in to see the program of the Three Stooges or the Marx Brothers. It seemed to be interesting. Nothing seemed to be working, and I thought, my God, what are we into? You did an excellent job. Superb. Carry on. Thank you.
We somehow pulled that one out of the hat, didn't we, Dave?
It sounded challenging at the beginning.
Believe me, we had tape and duct tape and glue holding this thing all together tonight. That's how it, but that's pretty typical.
Well, that wasn't true. It was all professional. Listen,
well, it always looks professional on the surface, Dave. It doesn't matter what's going on behind the cameras.
Then people don't know. Okay, just so you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask all the presenters to send their PowerPoints to me, and I'll have that put together. The video will be posted within the next 3 or 4 days. It will go on the site for the pets on the and you'll get a link to a YouTube station for that. But you'll also be able to download all of the PowerPoints. So I'll leave that with you.
That would be spectacular. Thank you.
And I'd like to get a hold of those forms and everything that everybody was talking about. So I'll give you a list.
Perfect. Thanks,
Good.
David.
And you've got mine already, Dave, right?
No.
Did you find it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'll send it again. Okay, I will resend it.
Hey,
Thank you, everyone.
This is professional.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you
Good
so much.
night.
Okay.